Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. Hey everybody, it is our first ever episode!
Yay!
And with me today is Bliss from Ouch, Was That a Ghost? I know I've been making some posts building up to this moment to give you guys some previews, let you know what's going on. It's Christmas, so it's going to be a cryptid Christmas. I actually heard this topic on a couple podcasts over the last year or two, and I absolutely love it. I think it is bomb, and I wanted to cover it, but I didn't want to wait. So I went ahead and did it for this year. So I didn't have to wait till next year to cover it. And I thought it'd be a good topic to start with. So first of all, to everyone out there, Merry Chris Kwanzaa, because I don't fucking know what to celebrate. Never know.
Chris Kwanzaa.
We're going to get a little festive with some Icelandic tradition. I've decided I kind of have a thing for Icelandic folklore, apparently. I've noticed I keep floating that direction and it keeps popping up a lot. So apparently that's an interest of mine. And maybe there's some background there. Maybe I should look into my, what is that? Ancestry.
Desires.
Oh, the ancestry DNA thing. Well, I know like I have Scandinavia and stuff, so I don't know if Iceland's in there, but maybe I should check. Do you want to take a minute and just kind of let everybody know? I know we've done this on the other pod previously, and I know we have a little piece. It's going to be in another episode. I believe it's going to be airing in a couple weeks. But do you want to give them just another tidbit of what you guys do over there on your pod?
Well, we are Ouch, Was That a Ghost? We cover paranormal, cryptid. I love the goofy cases. Lee likes the more serious cases, and we dabble with a little bit of true crime. We just sit around, tell stories, and laugh.
Yeah. Oh, it's a blast. I mean, we've recorded a few episodes together and we just absolutely have a ball every time we do it. So I appreciate you coming on and doing this with me. And I think we are going to have a jolly old time.
Yay.
Cool. With our little ears. For those of you who can't see it, it's going to be on my Patreon page, but we're rocking reindeer ears and noses while we do this. Let's get into a little background first. In Iceland, there is a midwinter holiday known as Yule. Old English and Germanics had a similar word, which you guys would probably recognize as Yule. A lot of people have heard that one more than the other. This is a time of gathering, indulging in feasts, and celebrating. However, back in the day, this holiday brought together family, friends, both living and dead, as well as elves, trolls, and many other mythical creatures, creatures. The whole fucking thing's there. I'm just in my head picturing, you got me and, cousin Bob and Susie and Grandma Gertrude. Maybe I should stop using Gertrude.
Yes, that's the ghost that haunts your house.
I think so. Right. At the same time, I'm picturing next to, great grandma over here who is probably 90-something years old and about to just croak. You have like a Wendigo. And then next to it, you have a little elf, and then you have a Bigfoot, and maybe a Jersey Devil, and a fairy. And I'm just picturing this really long table, Hogwarts, with all of these crazy things sitting at the table. And I think that'd be actually pretty awesome.
And what is your subject? Did you already tell me? Or are you building up?
I'm building up.
Okay, sorry.
No, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Well, maybe. I think we'll get there.
But and by the way, when we had that in the other episode, when you had like a ghost join in on our recording, there was 3 knocks before it.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, there was. Listen back. There's 3 knocks before your ghost came in.
Holy shit. Yeah, and I don't remember how many times the lights flickered either. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty fucking bananas. Among these mythical and creepy creatures, you might find the 13 Yule lads and possibly their little Yule cat. Oh, yeah, they sound real cute, right?
The cat. I want to be haunted by a cat.
Oh, not this cat. We'll get into it. You do not want this kitty cat in your house.
Okay.
Because it's bad news bears. The story begins with Grilla and Lepaluli. I think is how you pronounce that. I tried to even write it.
Good.
Get it? Grilla has been identified as a giantress, a troll, an ogre, or a witch. So she's kind of got a little bit of everything going on here. She's said to live in a cave and comes down to the town to steal children that misbehave and cook them in a nice, yummy stew. By boiling them alive.
That sounds kind of witchy.
Right?
Yeah.
I think so too. But I was trying to get a mental image, but we'll get into a little bit. It didn't give me a lot, but there's some here a couple lines down that'll give us a little bit of an idea. But I wish there was a good drawing or something that could have given me a better view.
Yeah, because you said ogre and troll, which I picture
to me those are like
an ogre larger and a troll smaller, and then a witch sounds almost like feminine.
Oh,
but then the other ones sound like masculine.
The kind from like Snow White with a big warty nose. That's what I was picturing. I'm with you. I was trying to figure out troll, ogre, giant, and but who knows? Maybe there's trolls that are big. I haven't researched trolls yet. When I get to those, maybe we can learn a little bit more.
Well, they had a big troll on Harry Potter, so maybe the bathroom troll.
Oh, right. Sorry, it's been a while. I'm not a huge Harry Potter person. I know people are going to hate me. Don't at me. I've seen some of them. It's just hard to remember all of it. Written accounts of the wretched monster initially showed up in the 13th century, but oral stories started long before that, supposedly. I cannot verify because I don't know anybody who's been around since before the 13th century. Well, I might. They might be floating around my house. Who knows?
Gertrude's like, I know the real deal. That's why she's trying to get your attention.
Yeah, bitch, pull up a seat. I got something to say. There are actually some poems that give us a little bit of an appearance description. And I'm going to quote these. Also, just so you guys know, my resources are going to be cited in the description below or wherever I guess it shows up on your page. So you can go check those out as well. But it says, quote, "Here comes Grilla down in the field with 15 tails on her," end quote. So the fuck. I don't know.
Where are the tails coming out of? Because they can't all come out of your back end.
Dude, what if she could like spin them like tails from Sonic?
I'm picturing one coming out of her nose, just like flopping around. Like, where are the tails coming out of? And then she gets
so sick of it, she like holds one nostril and sucks it in. Oh my gosh. Oh
my gosh.
That's gross. The next quote that I have here says, "Down comes Grilla from the outer fields with 40 tails, a bag on her back, a sword, knife in her hand, coming to carve out the stomachs of the children who cry for meat during Lent." It escalated quickly.
It definitely did.
It's like, so now she has 40 tails.
Where are she feeding these tails? Where are they?
How does she wear pants? Like, are those tails in your pocket? Are you happy to see me?
So gross.
Like, I just keep thinking tails from Sonic. But what if they are tails, but they're like spaghetti noodle thin or something?
Yeah.
So that you could have 40 of them. And
I wonder if they're like Medusa-y, like coming out of her head, or like.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know how to picture this.
You just gave me a horrible image of 40 snakes coming out of Grilla's ass.
Her ass? That escalated quickly.
I was trying to think of where like a tail would come from. That's usually the butt. I mean, above the butt, but you know what I mean.
And she uses that as like a propeller to move forward and cut the children. Gross.
He doesn't need a blender.
Ew.
Oh, that's so gross. I couldn't figure it out, but apparently she also has a bit of a temper. It's said that she ate one of her husbands just because she got bored with him. So I can relate to this. I didn't eat him. I swear to Bob, I did not eat him.
Sure.
Yeah, but
I'd have a temper too, though, if I had all those tails.
Yeah,
I'd be pretty pissed.
Not to mention there was well, wait, hold on. This is before the 13 children, so that's not a good excuse. Yeah, I don't know. She just got bored and she decided she's gonna eat his ass. Well, eat him.
And his ass.
Yeah, so this is the other interesting thing that I found, because I also found where it says she would go around town begging the townspeople to hand over their naughty children. But you could thwart her plans by offering her food or chasing her away. So I'm just picturing all these heavy set, I'm assuming everybody, well, primarily heavy set, like women. And I'm thinking, old days, and you got like the weird dresses with the little aprons on them, and they're like chasing this bitch with a broom. That's what I am picturing in my head. Like just chasing this lady down the road or path. I guess it's not a road, a path with a broom or a rolling pin. Did they have rolling pins? They probably did, right?
Some kind of version, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I always think of everything rocky in Iceland, so I'm just picturing like a rock that's a rolling pin. Like everything's just stone.
Oh my gosh, that makes sense. Just trying to picture like, her chasing, but
I wonder if they gave her food, any of the people, instead of chasing.
So that's what they would have to have known. Somebody had to have, because they know that it supposedly worked.
So she just wanted attention and she was hungry. So is she really that bad?
Oh my God, I'm Grilla. Oh shit. Oh hell. Well, I don't need 13 Yule lads. That's for sure. Definitely not. What I'm trying to get a hold of here is, again, she was described as an ogre, a troll, like a witch. I don't think a giant or an ogre or anything. I feel like it'd be kind of very obvious if they were wandering around town. So I'm almost wondering, maybe she was a witch.
I'm picturing like the ogre wandering through town with a fake mustache on to try to just like blend in.
Twirling the ends, like push his hands together, like
yes.
Oh my gosh, it's so true.
Pulling his hat down a little bit, just walking down the street.
Got like the cape or whatever, holding it up over his head.
Yes.
Now, that's what I was trying to figure out, was probably be pretty obvious. I mean, unless she was a witch, she could change her appearance. Potentially, I don't know if ogres or trolls could do that. Again, haven't researched them. They very well could. I don't know. Lepaluli, there's not as much that I could find on him per se. Definitely nothing positive. He's commonly just portrayed with Grilla to promote the good behavior, kind of threaten them into like, I'm going to get your dad kind of thing. Like he was the Iron Fist, something to that effect. But it also kind of, a couple sources I found had him described as pretty much a deadbeat dad. He kind of stayed home all the time, sat on his ass, didn't do much, didn't go out. So
this is why she's pissed.
Yeah, right. But this is the one after that one, supposedly.
And he already knew that she ate the previous husband, and he's just fine with it. He's really testing, like trying his luck.
Maybe he was from out of town and he didn't know. He was just like, damn, this Grilla bitch, man, she's got it. Apparently he must think that, because they ended up having 13 children.
Imagine being the doctor helping her deliver when all these 40 tails are just flying around. And you're like, push! And all these tails are just like smacking you in the face.
Like Doc Ock is just going to be pulling them out by herself. Oh my gosh.
The visual images with this story are great. I have no idea what's actually happening, but I'm just painting all these pictures in my head.
They wouldn't need a blanket or anything to wrap them up. She just wrap them up one tail at a time, just like a little burrito. And like, shoop, and just roll them up, like, cut them up and make, what are cinnamon rolls?
Cinnamon rolls.
Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of that rolled up the way I was thinking. Shoot.
That's great. Was he a troll, or it didn't say?
Didn't say, but I'm not entirely sure. But these little shits visit the towns, harassing the citizens, pulling pranks, and stealing shit. Like nothing but a bunch of delinquents. They start 12 days before Christmas. One shows up each day. I'll get into more of how that works in a second. But they do say that if the children put their shoes on the windowsill, one of two things could happen. If you're well behaved, you'll get a small little gift from the Yule lads in your shoe. If you've been naughty, the Yule lads will leave a rotten potato in your shoe.
Okay. I thought it was going to be like, well, they gut you and they boil you alive. That's what I was expecting. So I guess the rotten potato isn't terrible. They're not copying the mother too much.
Well, my thing is, I've smelled some rotten potatoes. They smell like rotting flesh.
Oh, they smell horrific.
Yeah.
I think everyone's forgotten some in like their pantry and then found them in the back behind something. And you're like, oh, what is that disgusting smell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been that. I'm like, what does it smell? And then I open it. I'm like, holy moly.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like bad. Liquid seeping out. I know exactly what you're talking about. It smells horrible.
Give me the willies. But yes, supposedly part of the newer story. That's just so you know, that's a newer tradition, not the original.
Okay, what's the original?
Well, one thing I did find that I thought was kind of funny was that a lot of people depict them in medieval Icelandic garb, like old-timey type clothing still.
Mm-hmm.
Some places actually kind of make them look a little bit like traditional elves from our side, kind of putting them in clothes that similarly, Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like all these little bitty guys, I guess. They'd have to be little bitty.
Did you say they were ogres?
Trolls.
Trolls. I'm sorry.
Yep. This is where it gets, we're about to get into it. We're about to get real knee deep in this shit. Starting on December 12th, one of the Yule lads comes out each night until Christmas. Then, in the same order they approached, one leaves each day starting on Christmas. So it's kind of like a revolving. So it ends up being that each Yule lad is present for 13 days.
In the town or in somebody's house?
I'm assuming house, which I'm not really sure how this works because I don't think there's like a billion sets of them, but I don't know.
Okay.
So maybe they have cloned. Shit, I have no idea. We are going to now get into each of the individual Yule lads. And this is where the good times are about to start. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. First one up is Sheepcoat Claude.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Sheepcoat Claude.
Yeah.
He rolls off your tongue.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. He arrives on December 12th and departs on December 25th. So he's the first one in, first one out. And this little bastard goes around harassing the local sheep population. Unfortunately, he is slightly impaired due to his less than ideal peg legs.
Oh, I don't know if I can feel bad for him or not.
He's going around just messing with the sheep and like waddling with his little peg legs.
Yeah. I'm picturing the guy from Family Guy, Seamus. Do you watch Family Guy?
I've seen a couple episodes.
Oh, never mind.
Which one's that? Which one's
he's the ship guy. He was a fisherman who lost all of his limbs. So every single limb is like a wooden piece of arm, a wooden piece of leg, and he just like wobbles around.
That sounds like it'd be a good description. I haven't quite figured out exactly how he harasses all the sheep with his little peggy legs.
Just chasing them around. I don't know.
Like, poke him with it. Like just poke him in the leg or something. I don't know. But that's the first little guy.
Okay.
Next
that's not that bad.
Yeah. Next we have Gully Gawk.
Gully Gawk.
Yep. Arrival date is the 13th. I think he leaves on the 26th, not the 25th. My bad. Apparently I was not paying attention when I wrote that.
Oh, so he leaves the day after Christmas. He stays for okay, gotcha.
This one likes to hide in the gullies, just waiting for a chance to sneak into a cow shed and steal the milk.
What? Okay.
He's just like hiding out like military style till he can slide on into like where the cows are. And my thing is does he get it directly from the teat? Does he get it from the bucket? Do these people have goats? If they had goats, would he still prefer the cow milk?
I just want to know, does he have face paint on and fatigues? That's my thing.
Oh, well, they all describe him as having like Icelandic dress, but maybe he does get down for like the mission.
He army crawls in there and just flips and has his milk, and then army crawls out.
I'm just picturing this like a little tiny like person, all dressed in military gear, helmet and everything. It's strapped on, his face is painted, and it's just going. And then it like goes all the way over to the cow, and then like he can't even reach because its udders are too tall.
Oh, poor thing.
That would
He's
suck.
just waiting for little drips.
Yeah. Come on, mama. Let's fly. So I don't know, but maybe it's what it is. But that is the Gullygock.
Okay.
Okay, you're gonna like the name of the next one. Ready? After Gullygock comes Stubby.
Stubby.
Yep. He shows up on the 14th and leaves on the 27th. And I would like to point out, first of all, the name seems kind of rude for me. I mean, but it's stereotypical troll fashion. This little fella is supposed to be abnormally short. Same. Like, join the club. What he likes to do is steal pans that are left out and eat the remaining crust off of them. That's his jam. So I'm curious, if he finds the pan, so he steals the pan and eats the crust, does he take the pan with him? Does he leave the pan behind? What's he do with it when he's done?
Yeah, is it like a pre-rinse situation or is it just a klepto?
What if he takes it, eats from it, puts it back the way he found it, and you never, and maybe you, if he doesn't eat it all, maybe you end up eating troll slobber backwash leftovers. Woo! It's kind of gross.
Huh.
But the next one there is pretty good though. Incoming after that is spoon liquor. Yeah.
A spoon liquor.
I bet you could guess what his guilty pleasure is.
Licking spoons?
He shows up on the 15th and leaves on the 28th. And the lore describes him as being exceptionally thin. And as the name insinuates, this little trickster steals and licks wooden spoons.
So are these just pre-rinser guys that just like milk occasionally?
That's kind of what I'm seeing. The pattern's there. Pattern's definitely there. Maybe they had dogs and they just got, I don't know, real high and they thought their dogs were trolls.
They were eating magic mushrooms.
Yeah. I mean, back then, who knows? The one thing I did find interesting was they specified wooden spoons. Now, I feel like back in those days, those were the primary types of utensils being used.
Mm-hmm.
But as the time kind of goes on, does he steal and clean metal spoons now that they're available? Does he give the spoon back when he's done?
Yeah, I don't know. And if he's just licking, there's probably no chew marks or anything in it. Because I was thinking about the pan licker guy, if he left like little nibbles on the side or anything with his teeth.
No, they seem like they're pretty conveniently evidence free. But yeah, so that would be my assumption. But speaking of pans, next we have the pot scraper, also known as the pot licker.
This is just grandma sitting there pre-rinsing everything.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, they start getting real good. They start getting real good. This little guy, he comes 16th, leaves the 29th. He doesn't have much of a description, but he's known to steal unwashed pots and lick them clean. When that happens, another question would be, do you wash it afterwards or is it considered clean? If you don't know,
like green slimy stuff on the side.
But what if they don't? What if they have like normal spit? You don't even know. They lick it clean and they just puts the thing back up there and you come in one day and you're like, or after a couple hours, you're like, well, how the hell did this thing get clean? Oh, well, I don't have to wash it and then put it back up.
Ew, and then you like develop a tail after you ate out of the pot.
Oh, dude, I want a tail. That'd be sexy. I would totally rock a tail. You kidding me? Telling my kid here that he's got a thing against furries. Can you guess what the next one's going to do?
We've done spoon. Does it have to do with cups?
Nope.
Bowls?
Yep. It's the bowl liquor.
I feel like we're just jumping around the kitchen.
But I think this is the last of our liquors.
Oh, good.
He shows up the 17th and bounces on the 30th. Now, this is where it gets a little different. This weirdo hides under the bed, waiting for the occupant to place their esker under there. Then he steals it. An esker is similar to, it's kind of like an old-timey Tupperware bowl. that people would use to store food under their bed. Not really sure why they stored it there. Maybe they had
That was going to be my next question.
I'm thinking midnight munchies. I mean, back then they didn't have refrigeration or anything, right? So they could just store their shit wherever they wanted, I guess. If it is kind of like an old-timey Tupperware and you borrow the Tupperware, does it ever make it back to where you borrowed it?
And does it have its lid?
Exactly.
Or is that gone?
Ooh, good point. Little shits. Maybe that's what's happening to all my Tupperware. Little bastards. That's what we have for that guy. The next little asshole is little punk ass, right? And his name is Door Slammer. So he comes on the 18th and leaves on the 31st. And this prick likes to run around slamming doors throughout the house, especially at night, to wake people up. Like, what the hell?
I would kick his ass. He's the worst one I've heard so far.
I know. He's horrible. All night long, just bam, 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 bam. How heavy are these doors?
You know how many kids probably got grounded because of these punks?
Well,
this one specifically.
They're probably like, so we got to come up with something. That's the little door slammer. All right. So then we have an interesting fella called the Skier Gobbler. Good gravy. Skier Gobbler. He shows up on the 19th and leaves on January 1st. And he goes around eating all the skier he can get his hands on. And skier is Icelandic. It's similar to curd or yogurt. Oh,
I was thinking like a skier, like somebody on skis. And he was just going around eating the people. And I was like, wow, okay. This escalated.
Look at his fingers. No, so apparently he has a thing for yogurt. But my question would be, what happens if he comes looking for yogurt and you don't have any?
I'm just thinking how gross the yogurt was back then, because you said that there's no refrigeration. So you have like room temperature yogurt sitting there, curdled.
So they didn't have ice, right? I don't think they had refrigeration. But I know there's a lot of places where what they would do is take their dairy products and they would find like a stream, like a flowing stream, and dig out a thing to make almost like a refrigeration unit, because the temperature from the water coming down and how everything would flow would actually keep all of the stuff good inside of it. It was kind of like a little hidey hole for your dairy stuff.
That sounds dirty, but go ahead.
Oops. Well, but that's what I'm picturing. Oh my gosh, my favorite one. Okay, I can relate to this guy, and he is called the Sausage Swiper.
The Sausage Swiper. Okay.
So he becomes a rafter stowaway that snatches up all the sausages as they're being smoked. So, when people are smoking them and they hang them to cook or whatever and all of that, this little guy supposedly goes up in the rafters and waits till they start hanging their meat, and then he just starts gobbling it up.
In front of people, or he takes it and runs with it?
Well, it doesn't say. It just says snatches it up and eats it. It very well just could have been a bear.
It sounds like a homeless man that goes from like house to house. It could have been an animal too, but it just sounds like they're going around eating and slamming doors and eating all the leftovers.
Yeah, but my thing is, if they're hanging it and stuff, how high are they hanging it? They might use something to hang it as opposed to just, hanging towels or something. So if it's really high, it'd have to be some sort of critter, I would guess, to scurry up there and be able to reach it. Or the sausage swiper. Then
imagine how gross they were back then with like actual animal intestines as the casing, and just they probably tasted good, but I'm just saying the smells and everything.
No preservatives or nothing, just straight
yuck.
I'd try it. Just saying. So the next one is a total fucking creep, and he is called the Window Peeper.
The Window Peeper. Okay. Yep. Little pervert.
Yeah, right. He gets there on the 21st and leaves January 3rd. And he slinks around looking through the windows for items he can steal. So I was a little concerned there at first. I thought he was like a peeping Tom.
That's what I thought too.
Apparently he's, well, I mean, nothing says that he's not. I mean, while you're peeping, his primary, well, I said that really weird, didn't I? His primary goal is to just kind of look around and be like, what you got that I can get in there and steal while you're not looking. But for all we know, it could have been panties. We don't know.
Everything I'm thinking of is like the old fashioned panties. What did they look like? Were they like trash bags? Like, what do you think?
Like, I
like the big bloomers.
Those bloomers. That's what I'm saying. The little shorts with the little furries at the bottom. That's what I'm thinking. Did they even wear panties?
I don't know. That's all these stupid questions popping in my head.
Sit over buckets for a week. That would imply they didn't have panties.
And the sexy ones would be like dyed with red berries or something.
Different colored ones. They got blue and purple, and these are my elderberries. I'm wearing them tonight. It's gonna be a hot one.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! What if they made edible underwear
out of sausage?
I am so down. I am down. Dude, sign me up. You get the sausage in the sausage. You see what I'm saying? It's like
I hear you.
Situation. You don't know when you're supposed to stop.
That's right.
Oh, that's horrible, but it's okay. My next visitor is the doorway sniffer.
I remember this one. I don't know why or where. Does he have a huge nose? I do know this. This is okay. This was sounding a little bit familiar, and until this part, because this is the best part of any story I've ever heard.
This is awesome. I love it. So he shows up on the 22nd of December and leaves on the 4th of January. And he's described as having a huge snoz, just like you said, that allows him to have this almost superhuman, I mean, not human, but you know what I mean, sense of smell. And he uses his talent to sniff out leaf bread. And leaf bread is made from a thin wafer-like dough. And families would get together to make and decorate this bread. And they would even hang it in the windows around Christmas time. And I can't really blame the guy. I mean, you're baking this fresh bread. It probably smells fantastic. You're decorating it. It looks so pretty. And my nose is just telling me it's delicious. And then you just hang it in the window. That's like
leaf bread, though?
Oh, bread's bread in my book.
Okay.
I like those carbs.
Yes.
But yeah, that's kind of my thing. But then we have Meat Hook.
Meat Hook. Okay. Yep.
He arrives on the scene on the 23rd and leaves on the 5th of January. And he is said to use a hook to steal the meat. Now, here's my question. Does he have a hook hand? Like Mr. Pegleg? Or does he carry around like a scythe or the Bo
Peep?
What's the Bo Peep hook? One of those thingies?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Is it something with a handle? Is it part of him? Does he steal all meat? Is it only cooked meat? But
I immediately, my mind went to like, that old talent show where they'd like hook somebody off stage.
I call it the
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm picturing this little troll fella. He's waiting, right? He's got his hook ready. He's got it up and he's like waiting at the door and he's waiting for the opportunity. And then boom, gun goes off and he is running. And he just runs across the kitchen and just like swipes
grabs the meat.
Everything. Yeah. Trying to get everything and run out the door. Ooh, what if he was in whatever this place is that they were hanging their sausages? Because the hook could be helpful to get the sausages. What if him and Sausage Swiper or whatever got in a fight over the meat? Because I don't think Sausage Swiper has any cool gadgets. He's just him. He's got the ability
just climbing up and eating it and running.
Yeah. I mean, I think the hook would probably beat him, just hit him with it. Because they got to fight. They're siblings. Got to. But lastly, we have the Candle Stealer. And this prick follows children around. So he waits for the opportunity to steal their candle. Because back then, the candles were made from tallow, which comes from beef or mutton soot, and they were completely edible. However, they were also very important because, there wasn't electricity. All you had was candles, and there wouldn't be light or anything. So this little asshole would just go around stealing all the candles and just leave everybody in the dark.
Was he eating them or just stealing them to steal them?
I think he was eating them. I mean, it's made out of materials that you eat or can eat. I don't know if you typically would eat it, but he might.
Would you want to?
Well, if I'm a starving troll, but that is the last of the Yule lads. I would like to ask, what would any family be without the family pet?
Oh, this is the ghost cat?
So this particular family has an absolutely badass pet called the Yule cat. And this cat is said to be absolutely massive and just brutally vicious. And its fur was described as being sharp as needles, and it had like insanely sharp whiskers and claws as well. So you wouldn't want to ride the big kitty if his fur is like needles.
So it's like a porcupine fur, but it has a cat face with really sharp whiskers.
Well, it's like the cat shape. Everything's cat, just huge, like Godzilla style cat. But instead of soft, fluffy fur, all of the fur is basically needles. It's pretty cool.
I still want it. I want a ghost cat so bad.
I know. I'd want it too. The best part, in my opinion, about this giant feline is that it goes around and devours anyone who does not get new clothes for Christmas. And you don't need a whole wardrobe. A simple scarf or pair of socks will do the trick.
That sucks for all like the poor kids in town that petrified of being eaten by this like giant cat.
Oh, well, so here's the thing. So many people believe that the Yule cat lore was created to keep the poor members of the community working hard through the holiday season, enough hours to get the money to purchase new clothing that would ensure their family's safety.
Like the little kids in the family, that sucks for them because they can't even work and they're just like, oh, I didn't get any new clothes.
They don't have so the thing is they made this thing up saying, this cat's gonna come eat your fucking kids. And so the parents would then work overtime or push themselves, even though they probably should not have been working due to like health concerns or whatever, would push themselves to work anyway so that they could make the money to purchase their children these new pieces of clothing so that they'd be safe. They were straight up exploiting these bitches.
That sucks.
It's a little rough.
And what about the mother? She just like left?
Supposedly the Yule cat actually assists Grilla in finding the naughty children that she then throws in a sack and takes back to boil alive.
So where is she in this whole thing? That was it? She just like comes in and backs up kids if she needed to? She's probably off eating another husband.
Well, she needs to eat this deadbeat. I mean, shit. Fucking eat his. Like, come on. But one thing that I found really, really interesting in my research was in 1746, the original stories of the Yule lads and the Yule cat were legally banned. You were not allowed to tell your kids. You were not allowed to talk about it. You couldn't tell stories because it was scaring people so bad, they made it illegal.
That is so funny.
Yeah. And about 200 years later, they turned into instead of stealing and pulling some B&Es and stuff like that, you just leave your shoes on the windowsill and they either leave you a present or they leave you a potato.
No longer rotten, just a potato.
Well, it could be rotten. It could just be a potato. You never know. I would hope that it's always a rotten potato because if you're not, you deserve a rotten potato. Like one, I wish it was like flesh, where it'd be in there, it's just rotten and it's nasty. And then whenever you go to get the potato out, it explodes like an abdomen and just shoots goo everywhere. That would be nice.
Well, if you have a rotten potato in your shoe, that means your shoe's going to stink. You're not going to be able to get that smell out.
Good point. I guess
they didn't have Febreze.
I was thinking they put it on like the heel, so it still gets like some air and it's like on the window. So like the air's out. I didn't think about shoving it
They
in.
probably plop it right in there. It's all the liquid just seeping into it.
Ooh. Oh my, what if it'd be nice if they did eggs.
If they did eggs.
Hi, person.
Yeah, I did put my Christmas wreath up already.
Oh, Thanksgiving. I like my spooky stuff. I'm gonna keep it as long as I can.
I love it too, but as soon as it's over, it's like, okay, depressing. Let's just move on.
Never depressing. It's dark like my soul. But that is the information that I have on the Yule lads, their parents, and their kitty. So
That is amazing.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Would you prefer the Yule lads or Elf on a Shelf?
Kids don't listen to this. So whenever I had to do Elf on the Shelf, I always forgot. And I'd have to wake up in the middle of the night and just like run around and try to, that thing was a pain in the ass. I'd probably prefer the kids.
Yeah, I never did it. And my son very quickly killed Santa on his own. I didn't have to do it for him.
Huh.
And he killed all of them at once. I mean, Easter Bunny, Santa, Tooth Fairy. The only one that broke his heart was the Tooth Fairy.
Really?
Yep.
See, my older one kind of found out because he came to me. He's like, this is really funny that Santa's writing looks just like yours. I was like, shut up. So I started like block lettering and trying to do it different. But then he was going to tell his brother. So I was like, oh, well, now you know. So then he started requesting cookies the night before that he wanted. And, you know, he's in on it, but he gets some benefits. So he's like, all right. Smart. He's like, Santa really wants some meatballs. I was like, he does, huh?
Oh,
so I have to make him.
Damn, that's specific. Okay. So yeah, mine just, he went and there would be like fake ones, and he's a lot like me, and we are very detail oriented. We are very observant, and odds are you're never going to pull a fast one. Mm-hmm. It's just not in our nature. He kept asking me, you know, why all the Santas were fake.
Oh yeah, we had that about all the, because we'd go to like Walmart or something, and they'd have like the terrible shoes, and I'd be like, oh, they're the helpers, and try to lie it away. But he was like, really? If that was his helper, would those be the shoes that he'd be wearing? I'm like, shut up. Stop asking questions.
But he did. He said, and he was like, well, is he fake or is he real? And I was like, well, bud, he's whatever you believe him to be. If you think he's real. If you don't think he's real, he's not real. And he was like, tell me straight, Mom. And he was only like 8. He's like, tell me straight, Mom. And I was like, he's not real, bub. And he's like, Easter Bunny's fake too, isn't he? And I was like, yeah. He goes, I knew it. He goes, you can't.
Well, an Easter Bunny, it doesn't make any sense. You have a bunny that's hopping around laying eggs and like collecting eggs. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Maybe the Easter Bunny's a cryptid.
That would be cool.
I'm kidding. People probably just went over and screamed at their phone.
That would be great though, because it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
Or even the tooth fairy. You have this crazy lady hopping in your house, grabbing the teeth. Like, that's kind of creepy.
I want to thank you again, Melissa, for joining me on my very first episode. And
thank you for having me.
I know it's gonna be awesome. I know I've already got the one on here. I just got to piece it together. It's gonna be great. I love having you guys. I might have to, steal the co-host and get her on here, but again, everybody, it's Ouch, Was That a Ghost? And you can check them out on all of your podcast listening areas. Hit them up on social media. I know that they've got, Instagram and Facebook and all of that. So you can find them anywhere. Give them a listen, give them some love, and I'll see you next time. And that wraps up our episode for today. Please rate and review the show wherever you listen to help me out and make the podcast easier for others to find. And don't forget to follow on Facebook and Instagram, and check out the website at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. There you can find episodes, links to the social media, leave a review, find the link to the merch store, and donate to support the continuation of this pod. You can also find the link to the Patreon page. I hope to see you next time.